Hey guys, today in our esoteric word, we're going to be speaking about the Bible verse that speaks about the eye is the lamp of the body. And as soon as we can find Peter, we'll invite him on to the call. There he is. So, talking a lot about the third eye today, so that's always exciting. And so when you think about it, I'll just start to read the scripture. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, you are whole, you will be full of light. Matthew 6:22. Okay, there's Peter. Cool. So perfect timing. So I'll just read that scripture one more time. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. Matthew 6:22. Welcome, Peter. So you and I were just chatting, so we're just going to jump right into it. So what does it actually mean for the eye? Well, and actually it doesn't even say that yet here. So it's the eye is the lamp of the body. Can you just start to elaborate what that even means?
Yes, that's a good place to start. When we think of a lamp, we think of, for example, walking through a forest. You need a flashlight, you need a lamp, you need something to be able to show the way, right? So the eye is the lamp of the body means significantly that the eye is the light, so to speak, that we use to direct our path, walking through the darkness of in the material dimension, in the lower dimensions, in the dense plane. That this is the flashlight. Maybe in modern context, we'll say the eye is the flashlight of the body. And you know, again, that's why we see in the pictures of saints and sages, we'll notice that there's always light emanating from their on their heads, because it's the lamp. It's the flashlight.
That totally makes sense, and I love to see that aura around them. Like in every spiritual tradition, they have people with those lamps around them. That's really beautiful. Um, okay, cool. So then I did you, and I don't see it on here, but when you talk about the third eye being that the single eye, would you be willing to elaborate on what part of the Bible it talks about that?
So in Matthew 6:22, I believe, yes,
Mm-hmm.
um, saying that the eye is the lamp of the body. If the eye is single, or if the eye is whole or healthy, the body will be full of light. And it's saying that this vesture, or this aspect of us, third eye, pineal gland, ajna center, mystic spot, so many names given to this one single non-physical gland, represented as a physical gland, essentially is the doorway for us to receive illumination. And that when we have um, channeled our attention, transferred our attention to our flashlight, that our whole body, our whole being, which means our mental, our emotional, and our physical, will be full of light. It means that we'll be able to take the right perspective, we'll be able to understand the way Source understands, we'll be able to think like the Source. Our whole being will be full of light. All aspects of us will be flooded with that same light that comes from within or comes from without. Because surrounding us is pure light, within us is light as well. The density is coming from the thought forms. So the light that comes from within or comes from without begins to purify or transform, transmute the thought forms that exist within our three lower minds or three lower dimensions.
So I feel that we've talked about this before on this these recordings about if this is a holographic universe, and then my hand is the image of the hologram and it breaks into a million tiny pieces, then all these little pieces are going to have the whole image of the hand on them. So each of these million pieces is an entire hand, right? So that means that if this is God's source, whatever you want to call it, and we are all these little tiny hands, then we can tap back into that information field or that energy field through our third eye. Is that what you're kind of saying?
To some degree, yes. that source God is all around us.
Mhm.
It's like, we're inside this ocean of source, but we've created a container around ourselves that prevents us from interacting with the ocean around us. So the eye is the doorway that then opens up that light that is already around us to flow within us. And when light begins to flow within us, the container that we have created around us begins to dissolve. So that as within, so without, so we can have the same vibration as the source around us, as nature all around us.
That's beautiful. And I do like in here how you talk about that the third eye represents the eye of Shiva. And one thing with learning with Renee Beth, one of the videos that she had me watch, they talked about how there's different levels. If you were to walk into a house and you're looking out of the first floor, say you're going into a 10-level building, and you're on the first floor and you see something a certain way, and then as you raise floors or raise consciousness, you start to see a different landscape. And so as we tap into this third eye and activate these connections, then it helps us to start to see like through that eye of Shiva or through that higher consciousness as we go through everyday situations in life.
Absolutely. The key thing you're explaining is that the tool of consciousness or our soul is our attention, right? And so typically individuals' attention is stuck somewhere outside of or somewhere within the three lower dimensions. So our attention could be stuck in our physical body, for example. A person can be thinking, oh, this is how I look. And we could be focused on our physical appearance. Attention is all stuck there. Or our attention could be stuck on the astral plane, our emotional body. Or our attention can be stuck in the mental plane, like, oh, we're thinking about something, processing something a lot, or, you know. And the point you make is that this level of perspective is predicated on where a person's attention is. If the attention is within the lower bodies, within the physical body, then of course they are seen from the ground floor, the basement. In psychoanalysis, psychodynamics, or Jungian psychology, that's the basement, where if attention is in that lower dimension, a person feels, victimized, blah, blah, blah. The attention can then rise to the emotional plane, and that's for a little bit more highly advanced, not highly advanced, but a little bit more higher levels of consciousness when the attention is in the astral plane. And then the person's attention can rise to the next floor, which is within the mental. And also remember that those planes also have subdimensions. The mental has three subdimensions: the abstract, the causal, the concrete. And to your point, the person can go all the way to the penthouse, and the attention can be in the third eye. Just like the image you have in your background, right, Katie? You can see how the chakra systems are aligned. That's where people's attention can be. A person's attention can be stuck in the lower dimension, in the root, exactly. Or the attention can be all the way up. Exactly. There you go. Yes.
Perfect. So speaking of that vibrational level, would you be willing to show our friends what you showed me with your laptop, and just when our thought forms get stuck and what happens when we start to move our attention up to the pineal gland? What happens as we, so before you, yeah, tell us that first. Go ahead. Thanks.
Sure. I'll demonstrate that again. So it's like this is within and this is without, external. And so let's imagine that this within us is broken into dimensions, right? So this is within us and this is external to us, external. So within is broken into all those dimensions we mentioned, right? Physical, emotional, physical, etheric, emotional, mental. And then we have our veil, third eye, for example. When we are able to extract all our attention that is stuck, or essence that is stuck within the lower dimensions, and put it here, it becomes hot. And so it melts like a wax, right? Like candle, it melts. And it allows the light that is external to us to flood in. When the light floods in, it goes through all of our bodies, our mental, emotional, and physical. And the key thing is that because it's like wax, when we stop placing our attention here, it calcifies. So it closes up again. And then the individual will begin to experience all of those, for example, thought forms that existed in the low dimensions. Once again, the mental, the emotional, and the physical, because it's closed up. So the more we place our attention here, the more we melt the veil, we open up the veil so the light can begin to flood through our bodies. And again, all of the light that is coming is revelation, is transmutation. Any lower thought that is vibrating within us becomes transmuted because it receives the information it needs, the wisdom it needs to be able to have the right perspective.
Thank you. That's beautiful. And it leads me, like you were talking about the vibrational level, and then thinking about how we take these thought forms and we let in this light, and then the light helps to dissolve them. I remember a few years ago, a woman said to me, think about it, Katie, when you have like negative thoughts or dark thoughts, you feel heavy. Like your whole body feels heavy. It's harder to do anything. So it's really interesting to see that as we start to transform, like decalcify our pineal gland and let more light in, and then transform these thought forms, then our vibrational level raises, and then we are lighter beings, and then it does make everything easier, right? Do you want to say anything about vibrational level before we go to the
You
next part?
you hit the nail on the head 100%, that the thing that prevents a person from ascending is just the weight. It's like, talking about a jet trying to take off, and there's all this weight within the jet, and it's trying to take off, but it's pulling it down. So when, to your point, light floods in, and all of that weight in our lower chakras, lower energy centers, all of that weight, dense thought forms are transmuted. Then our vibration, our energy level increases. When our energy level increases and our vibrational frequency increases, then we are ascending in consciousness. The way we're thinking, the way we're feeling, the way we're acting, we're ascending in consciousness, rising in consciousness. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head on that one. That it's the dense thoughts from the past, the dense thoughts from our experiences that weigh us down, that bring us down. And then when the light comes in, it extracts the wisdom. Transmutation essentially means, what we call the philosopher's stone, is that we're taking lead and we're turning it into gold. We're taking all of the shadow aspects and we're looking at them from a positive perspective. So it transmutes all of that stuff so we can ascend, we can rise in consciousness.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And so thinking about as we purify our thought forms and we raise our vibration, so the Embrace Tao ceremony up in Canada is April 20th. If anybody wants information, we learn about Tao principles and we get activations, and we get the 3 treasures. So it's really cool. Also, last year, they talked about how your third eye, you have 3 eyes, right? Your left eye, your right eye, and then your middle eye. And so if we cleanse and purify our bodies and mind, then as thoughts come in, we can see it with our feminine aspect and that nurturing, caring, like that caregiver aspect, and with our masculine aspect, that like warrior champion aspect, and then with our higher selves aspect. So then we bring all of that unity together. And so that's what I've been really gathering from our conversations. So do you want to say anything about that before?
Absolutely. The key aspect to understand is that we are expressions of both the feminine and the masculine. However, in our culture, for some reason, we focus so much on the masculine aspect. And the masculine aspect essentially means our thoughts, our mental plane. The feminine aspect means our emotional plane, right? And so the key thing is that where our work is to link, Joe Dispenza will say head and heart coherence. That is essentially talking about the marriage of the masculine and yin yang, that we, through our experiences in life, we disconnected the feminine aspect. You find that, in religions, there's always this talking about God as he, or talking about, in relationship, there's always this removing away of the feminine. And by removing away of the feminine, we are disconnecting from the heart center. And so the key again is that we're linking up the masculine and the feminine so that in our expression we are balanced. The heart and the head is combined, and so it's not we're not allowing light to only flood, illuminate our minds, but we're allowing light to flood our hearts as well, so that we, in relationship to one another, we can express that empathy, and we express it through wisdom.
Beautiful. So then one thing to thinking about all of this and like the archetype program that we're creating and being self-leaders, and then thinking about clearing our vibration, because that information, that light that's coming in to us from outside of us, from the higher realms, this is the information for us to move forward, right? So like we decalcify our pineal gland, then our soul's calling can be then heard by our 3D self. So then we know where to go more easily, right? Because then we're going to be tapping more into that intuition because we're more clear. So for me, it sounds like as we clear our vibration and start to meditate, focusing on our third eye more and just decalcifying that in different ways. There's lots of ways to decalcify our pineal glands too, but it opens up space for our soul to sit in the commander's seat, right? Because that is the seat of our soul, is the pineal gland. Would you be willing to talk about? And that just made me think of Tao today when I was thinking about it. I was like, wow, if the seat of our soul is our pineal gland and we clear it and clean it up, then it allows the soul to be in the driver's seat instead of the ego.
Yes, and sometimes it's a bit to put it in a pictorial context. It's like saying that the eye is being covered with a lens. That's the best way to say it. The container around of us. You know, when we look at the aura, we look at each energy center vibrates and creates the container. So the calcification essentially means that it's covered by a particular container. And when that container is dissolved, removed, what is happening is source and soul are one. So source and soul are flowing through completely. And when source and soul are flowing through, with functioning according to our soulful purpose. And in reality, our soulful purpose is only to find ourselves and exhibit ourselves in the real world, whatever that looks like. It doesn't have to be, some people think, oh, soulful purpose means I have to be the, you know, a doctor or, you know, this particular manifestation. It means the Wu way. It means that we learn to go with the flow. We're now connected to the stream of life. And as God leads us, as source directs us, we're moving, we're speaking, we're acting, because we're then connected back to that stream, that source. So, you know, when you talk about the seat essentially meaning the lens, what is covering our eyes, our perception, what is preventing us from seeing. And it is the emanation, so to speak, the projection from our energy centers that creates the vortex around us, the toroid field around us. And so we cannot see past that field. In esotericism, it's called the ring pass knot. Most of the time, unless we break down the heavy thought forms, we cannot pass beyond them. It's always a ceiling. We're trying to pass through, but the thought forms will prevent the person. The lens of that thought form prevents us from seeing through it. Until the lens is removed, until the veil is opened, then we move to the next level. We meet another veil again, then we open that veil until we get to a point where we are receiving complete light, is illuminating the whole body. So yes, to your point, the seat essentially means that the lens that is covering the eye has to be taken off so that the soul and the source and light from the soul and source can flow through.
And then what is the light? Like, what does light carry, if that makes sense? Mm-hmm.
Good question. Light carries illumination. So like anything that vibrates contains information. And the light carries different types of information, or what we call different types of expressions, or the electromagnetic spectrum. It contains the different rays, and each of the rays contains a different quality. The ray of, you know, love, wisdom, concrete knowledge, idealism. So that information, to your point, flows through a person, and the individual's architecture will then determine the type of ray. Each one of us have different configurations. So we have a different monadic ray and we have a different soul ray. So based on our configuration, the information that is stored within the light begins to permeate our lower vesicles, and the information that is stored within the light begins to give us the knowledge, the illumination. It means the wisdom, so to speak, the illumination, I see, epiphany that we need in order to learn our lessons and in order to then progress on our journey of evolution.
Yeah, I love studying and just thinking about how, light and water and sound, it's all, everything's vibration, right? So just, well, just thinking about like waters and everything, and that's what
Mhm.
helps to be that conduit of transfer of information. And so just thinking about how everything carries information is really cool. It's now how do we tap into that information, right? So um, it's exciting times that we're in. So how I want to just ask, like, how is it that we do start to decalcify our pineal gland and activate it through like meditation wise? I know there's some other ways, but like, what are some ways that we can activate that?
I believe the key thing in meditation is, I'm a very big proponent of Joe. And so the big thing there is the head and heart coherence. In order for a person to, let's put it this way, where energy flows, attention goes. Where attention goes, energy flows. So let's put it that way. When we meditate and we put our attention on our heart center, automatically our heart center, imagine our heart center, our heart is sending, pumping blood to our body constantly, right? So this is a powerful energy center in the body. It's constantly working and just pumping. So it's power, it's a powerhouse. And imagine we recognize the law that if I put my attention somewhere, energy is going to flow there. So imagine what happens when we put our attention on our power center. We're sending energy there, that energy is going to flow back to us. So when we put our attention in meditation on the heart center, it sends energy there. That energy returns because we're in a transactional world. Anything you give out, you get back in return. So you put your energy in the heart center, you send energy there, it gives you energy back. And that energy is then what we use to decalcify in meditation, the pineal gland or the third eye.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. And so there's the breath work, it sounds like, and I know that you and I have practiced this, and maybe we'll do a short one before we end this Zoom. I mean, Facebook Live. Also, I feel that you will often like sit in stillness and then focus on your third eye and maybe breathe into your heart. So, what does stillness, how does stillness enhance your connection through your third eye?
So to your point, when I'm in stillness, I'm practicing three things, and it's light, sound, and vibration. Light meaning that I recognize that this is the center of light, and you can see it. When you meditate and you put your focus on the third eye, you can see the light there. And the next is the sound, to tune ourselves to that frequency around us. Our Merkaba, our vehicle, our aura is constantly vibrating. It's constantly giving out this sound. Different frequencies of sound. Each one of us, we have different frequencies, and we're constantly giving out this sound. We tune our inner ears to hear the sound. And the final thing is vibration. We connect with our heart. We can use the breath to connect with our heart because it's like a flame. When we send the breath there, it vibrates and we connect with that same vibration. So in meditation, it's the light, it's the sound, and it's the vibration. And when we keep our attention on the light, the sound, and the vibration, we're attuning ourselves, we're retuning ourselves to the frequency of source.
Well, and that's cool to think about too, like thinking about the Schumann resonance of the earth. And I think that as we can all harmonize and get to the same frequency and vibration. And so I do know that in like, I think it was 1994, they had 2,000 or 4,000 people meditate for 2 months. And they were able to lower the crime rate of in Washington, D.C. by like 25%. So imagine if we all were to meditate on raising our consciousness, everybody watching this and beyond, now and later, then imagine what we could do for that ripple effect of humanity and reaching that critical mass state where we could just shift consciousness. Imagine that. So that feels good. Um, so looking through here, some of the notes that, and we will put this PDF up on our YouTube channel, I mean on the website, but on the YouTube channel, we will have all these recordings. And you can find the PDF on the website, like I just said. I know that we talked about a lot of these things already. Is there anything more that you want to say about like connecting to the divine vision? Maybe like, I know that we were talking about bringing in that information and moving from the lower centers or the higher centers. What happens if these centers are not clear and we get information from outside?
So the whole idea of purification is to actually get information from the source in order to clear those centers. And to your point, in doing so, we're raising our vibration because we are dissolving the dense thoughts. I think a key point you mentioned as well is the reason why we have to do it, or the reason why it's a good idea to do it, is that when a person is stuck in the matrix, they begin to experience duality, suffering, right? And the nature of the matrix, the nature of the lower dimension is that it makes our soul feel like we're not the creator of experience. It makes our soul feel small, so to speak. It makes our essence feel like everything is happening to us. And so when we raise vibration beyond that point, we recognize that we create our experience. We recognize that we attract our experiences. And the point again is the more humanity raises vibration, the more we come out of victim mentality, so to speak, and we get into a source level, creator level mindset. And that brings abundance on the earth. That brings peace on the earth, because what we are seeing in the world around us is the outpicturing of what is happening in our collective unconscious. So the shadow is coming to the light so that it can be dissolved by being revealed. The awareness, our awareness is expanding beyond just even sometimes beyond the higher plane. For those who like to keep attention mainly in the higher plane, is that we're bringing the light into the shadow aspect so we can integrate the shadow aspects into our being. And when we integrate the shadow aspect, the lower aspects of ourselves, not by ignoring it, but by actually focusing on it as well, then we'll be integrated, we'll be fully integrated one whole, not fragmented. We're not broken into like, oh, my mental plane, I don't have some things I don't understand, my emotional plane, I don't understand this, physical, blah, 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 health. We become fully integrated when the light has permeated through all aspects of our being. The shadow aspects have been resolved, they've been integrated, the high aspects are flowing as one. We are one whole thing, and we can then create, so to speak. We're not even really creating, but we are only, each one of us, to be honest, we're just characters within the hands, the drama of God, Source. So Source can say, hey, I want you to move left, and we can move with Source. We can wu way, we can go with the flow with Source. We're no longer a rogue. We're not a rogue to the system because we're now surrendered to that flow completely. That frequency, that vibration. If Source says, hey, Peter, stand up, Peter stands up, right? Because we're flowing now with the Source, the mind of Source, as opposed to being rogue. Free will has been, so to speak, become God will.
One of my coaches a while ago said, Katie, you have two choices. You can wake up and meditate and be in stillness and make that one decision a day and then let Source, God, the universe, make all your other decisions, or you can skip it and make 1,000 burdensome decisions a day. So it's fun to remember that. Peter, I do know that you have to go soon. I was thinking about doing a quick meditation before I go, but if you do need to go, then you're definitely not held hostage. So before the meditation, is there anything else that you want to say to wrap things up?
I think we've covered a lot today, and I'd like to say people should share, like, subscribe. It's going to be posted on YouTube, our YouTube channel as well, School of Mythosynthesis, and also that there's a lot of programs, not a lot, but a couple of programs that we are coming up with for the month of April in the School of Mythosynthesis, and then we have a retreat as well in the month of May. So visit the website and share, like, and subscribe. And happy awakening to everyone.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your time. And yeah, again, you are welcome to stay on. But also, if you need to go, I do understand. So thank you again for your time and for all of your energy and work. We all really appreciate you.
We'll see.
Okay, so for everybody that stays here, I'm just going to invite us to close our eyes and be in a comfortable position and start to breathe in through your nose, breathing your energy into your lungs and then your diaphragm, and breathe out through your mouth. On the next inhale, I want you to breathe into your heart, feeling it expand and strengthen, and that energy send it all the way to the tips of your fingers and your toes. And then breathe out through your mouth. And continue breathing in through your nose, into your heart, feeling that energy throughout your entire body, and out through your mouth. On your next inhale, you're going to bring this loving energy from the base of your spine. Breathe in through your nose and bring the energy up, up, up through all of your chakras, up through your spine to your pineal gland, and hold this energy as long as you can until your body begins to shake. This activates those little crystals around your pineal gland. When you can't hold it any longer, slowly start to breathe out through your mouth. Release all of that energy and all of that air. And when you get to the bottom of that breath, we're going to do the same thing. Breathing in through your nose, bringing that loving energy from your root chakra, through your solar plexus, up through your heart, all the way up till you hit your pineal gland. And I want you to hold that energy again as long as you can. Hold, hold, hold. Resetting our autonomic nervous system. And then begin to slowly breathe out, expelling all of that energy, releasing all of those emotions and heavy feelings back to the quantum. When you get to the bottom of that breath, we'll do one more deep inhale through the nose. Again, bringing the energy from the base of the spine, your sacral chakra, up, 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 past your throat chakra, all the way up to your pineal gland, and holding this in your third eye. Feeling gratitude for this time together, for this day. Holding that energy as long as we can until our body begins to shake. And then releasing that breath. Again, feeling that gratitude for all that we are given. When you get to the bottom of that breath, start to breathe normal again. Focusing your energy into your heart, giving yourself that love that no other human can give to you. Giving yourself space today, in this moment now. When you feel complete, slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes and come back to this present moment. Thank you guys for being here. Again, like Peter said, we do have a YouTube channel, School of Mythosynthesis. I'll put that in the comments below. We also have a few cool events coming up, and so those you can find at www.root-awakening.com. And if you look under Archetypal Awakening, that's where most of the events are that are coming up. So sending lots of love to all of you and looking forward to continuing to grow together. Much love, Facebook family.